Hello everyone, I'm Harry, welcome to my channel, and today we're actually going to look at my big home studio pedal board that's totally overkill, but we're going to build it and I'm going to run through all the pedals and why I have them on my board. Bearing in mind, a lot of these are constantly changing, mainly because I'm wanting different sounds for different videos, but I'm also trying stuff out for demos and stuff like that as well. So before we get started, if you like this little video at any point, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and hit the little bell notification for me as well. It really does help me out a lot, and that way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. There's going to be affiliate links down in the description to every piece of gear I mentioned in this video and to record my videos. These do help support the channel out further, so I'd really appreciate if you can check them out. So like I said, this is my home studio pedal board that I use at home for all my videos. It's kind of overkill, but it's nice to have all the different options there, and it's probably too big to use at a live gig, so that's why I call it my home studio pedal board. So the reason why I wanted to do this video is I recently got sent the new K+ modular power supply systems from Anasounds, and there's so much current available and flexibility that I thought this would be perfect to build such a big board, because we've got 20 pedals on there and a loop switcher. Not many power supply systems to be able to handle this, so I'm actually using 2 of these big motherboards and 1 of the little daughter boards as well. And the cool thing about this is I can use just 1 power lead, and I can go into one, out of this one into the other big motherboard, and then out of that into the little daughter board as well. So everything's off 1 power cable. And we've got a couple of weird things on the pedal board as well. Like there's 2 pedals that I like to run at 18 volts, and then the loop switcher that I'm running all the pedals for are actually 12 volts. So having these motherboards with the variable voltage and the high current outputs really comes in handy for this. I actually recently did a full demo of the K+ modular power system, so if you'd like to see that, there'll be a link up in the cards, in the description, and pinned in the comments. So I've already placed all the pedals on the board, so I know where everything is, and I've already put all the audio cables together. The audio cables I always use at Evidence Audio. They're really simple. You can make them to custom lengths. It's solderless, and it's probably one of the best cables out there you can get for patch cables. The power supplies are really light, so I'm actually going to be using heavy duty Velcro to Velcro them to the bottom of my Pedaltrain Novo 32 boards, but they do also come with brackets. If I was gigging or using a board that would be moved about a lot, I would definitely use these brackets, but just because this is at home and it doesn't really move anywhere, I'm just going to be using heavy duty Velcro and Velcroing them to the bottom of the board. So now quickly off camera, I'm going to put 2 of these under the pedal boards and this little daughter board, so I have enough outputs for everything. And of course, having 2 pedals that run at 18 volts is good because I have the variable voltage, and then I need the 12 volts from the loop switcher as well. So I'll quickly wire everything up and then we can take a look at the boards. Okay, so we've got all the power done now. So we've got 2 of the K+ motherboards under there, as well as the little daughter boards. The wires are really messy right now, but I really wanted to quickly get it wired up so I could shoot the video. I think I'm going to go through and tidy all that up afterwards, but now let's look at some of the pedals. So of course, first I've got a tuner, which is the Peterson Strobo Stomp. I like this because it's really accurate, like a real strobe tuner. Super big display, so really easy to see. So the amp I'm running into is one of my favourite clean pedal platform amps, and that's the Hamstead Artist 60 Plus RT. There's a little bit of spring reverb on there, but then when we get to the reverb section of the pedal board, I'll kick that off. It's running into a Celestion G12M 65 greenback speaker, being recorded by a Lewitt MTP 440 dynamic microphone. So like I said, I've got my big loop switcher, which is kind of like the main hub of everything. So each loop has got certain pedals running through it. So if I want a pedal on, I've got the least amount of signal chain going on, so I'm not running through all the pedals and keeping the audio nice and clear. So we'll look at loop 1 first, which is going to be my main overdrive section. So, loop 1. So in this loop, I have the Automatone by Chase Bliss Audio that I recently got. This is one of the most amazing overdrive pedals and fuzz pedals, mainly because it's so flexible. You can really get it to mimic a lot of other pedals and even get a bit more headroom and high fidelity out of it as well. It's quickly become my favorite. There's going to be a demo of this soon. I've used it in a couple of videos, but it's expensive, but it's really, really good. So we'll have a quick listen to that first. So that's just one quick setting that I kind of use on the Automatone, mainly as like a great overdrive tone, but there's so much flexibility. Again, there's going to be a demo of that in the near future. Now, what else we've got in this loop? We've actually got the Foxcatcher by Coppersound pedals, which is a great blues breaker style drive. And I use this if I want really good low to medium gain overdrive that can retain a ton of clarity. And it's also got a built-in boost as well, but we'll just check it out just for the overdrive. Okay, so what else we've got? We've got the RYRA Klone, which is a great Klone Centaur pedal. I keep going between this and my Pro Analog Devices Manticore version 2, or the Constellation version. The Pro Analog Devices does the Klone thing, but then so much more. But if you want just a straightforward clone, then this is probably the best bet. I usually use it just as like a clean enhancer / slight treble boost. So straight in. Okay, so now in loop 2, I've actually got my fuzz, which at the moment is the Tup Fuzz by Expresso FX, which is a great big muff style, and you actually have a bass toggle switch to boost the bass and a mids toggle switch if you want to flatten out that mid-range a little bit, which is really killer. And then I've also got the Fuzz Rangers by Formula B. Now this is a great old school vintage fuzz face and vintage Rangemaster style treble boost. It is silicon, and normally I find that germaniums clean up better, but this has probably got one of the best cleanups from the volume control that you can get. So the Fuzz Ranger I sometimes swap out for my Germanium Fuzz by Expresso FX, but I'm really liking that because I also have the Germanium Boost from Expresso FX, and this kind of combines both of them into one pedal, but again, it's silicon instead. So let's have a look at the big muff style pedal from Expresso FX first. So that's in loop 2. So there you go, that's one of my favourite big muff style pedals. Having that little mid switch really comes in handy for flattening out that mid range and getting a bit more cut. So now let's have a look at the Fuzz Rangers. We'll look at the fuzz face style side first. So there you go, that's the fuzz face style side. Now I'm just going to quickly engage the Lightspeed because I like treble boosters running into an overdrive rather than straight into a clean. So now the treble booster side. So the really cool thing about that pedal is you can actually have the fuzz run into the boost or the boost into the fuzz. Again, I recently did a full demo. If you'd like to see that, I'll leave a link down in the description. Okay, so next, we're going to look at the compressor and octave section. So the Zenith by Hamstead Soundworks is a great compressor, but also a great EQ, and you can use it as a boost as well. So it's kind of like the perfect thing if you want to shape your tone going into pedals, or if you want to shape your tone that is coming out of pedals. It's kind of the dual type pedal. So let's have a quick look at that. Lightspeed. And now next to that, we've got the Octave OC5 by Boss. Now I used to use a POG a lot, but if I want just straightforward octave tones, then the Boss is a lot easier to dial in and sounds great. If I want more like synthy or organ stuff, I will still use the POG, but having that extra small form factor really comes in handy as well. So let's quickly check out how that sounds. The Zenith I recently did the demo for, so you can check that out on my channel, and the Octave OC5 I did the demo for, so you can check that out on my channel. So there you go, because you can see some really great classic octave tones, like polyoctave tones. So that I was just using the Tup Fuzz for the muff, and then the Lightspeed is kind of like an amp drive anyway. So next, we're going to look at the Revival Drive Compact by Origin Effects. That absolutely nails Marshall plexi tones, Vox tones, and Tweed tones. I always have it in a kind of Marshall plexi tone. So if I don't want to quickly plug in my Cornell 4550 plexi, I can quickly get a good tone from that pedal. Okay, so now loop 5, we're looking at like my modulation powerhouse. They're all by Walrus Audio. 1, because they all sound great, but 2, because they're also very versatile effects of each type. So it really allows me to get loads of different tones as well. I sometimes swap out the Julianna for the Gem Pedals Waterfall. If you want a classic, straightforward chorus pedal, at the heart, this sounds better, but the Julianna has so much more flexibility that I usually keep the Julianna on my board. So let's look at the Lillian first, which is a great phaser. And now the Julianna, which is a stereo chorus pedal, like the Julia that I really loved, but a ton more flexible. This is my kind of go-to chorus tone for a lot of things. And it also does really great vibrato as well. So the next one in the modulation power section is the Monument version 2, also by Walrus Audio. This is one of the most flexible tremolo pedals. You got tap tempo, you got tons of different wave shapes, and you can have harmonic or standard trem in any of these wave shapes as well. I've used this in loads of my videos, so you might have seen it before. Okay, so the next loop we've got is my delay section. Now, I have the Jam Pedals Delay Llama Xtreme because it's one of the best analog style delays I've played. But then I also have the Collider there for more flexibility in different types of delay, but then also giving me a ton of different reverbs as well. So I usually use the Collider for like plate, hall, spring, and maybe some other reverbs like shimmer. And then if I want digital delays or dual delays, I'll use the Collider. But if I want a straightforward analog delay, I'll always use the Jam Pedals Delay Llama Xtreme. That pedal does so much more. I'm actually going to have a demo coming up of that in the near future. So now let's have a look at the collider. So we'll look at the reverb side first and go through some of my favorite reverbs that I usually use. So I usually use the plate setting quite a lot, because if I'm using a spring reverb, I usually use the spring reverb in my amp, which I've just turned off now. So a bit of plate. And then, of course, we've got the delay side as well, which I usually use for like a digital delay or dual delays or something like that. But you have tons of different delays in there. A demo of the collider, if you'd like to see that, there'll be a video on my channel. Okay, so the next loop, we've got some of my favorite overdrives, the Lightspeed that I've had on my board forever. I think this is the only pedal that's never left my board. And then the Zenray, which is a very new thing. It's kind of a prototype by Pogo Pedals, and it's similar to Lightspeed, but a bit more mid-range and a bit more flexible. I really wanted the Zenray to go a little bit cleaner in parts and a little bit more scoops like the Lightspeed, but I think they've actually done something like that on the revised prototype. So the Lightspeed first sounds like this. The reason why I love the Lightspeed so much, though, is it takes pedals running into it better than anything else without shitting itself in the bottom ends. Like if you run a fuzz into it, it handles it like a champ. So it's a killer pedal. I can't recommend that one enough. And now the Zenray by Pogo Pedals. This is a prototype. I think the Zenray seriously has some potential to be one of the best overdrive pedals on the market. I'm really looking forward to trying out their finalized version. I think they are making those little tweaks that I mentioned. So the next loop we've got is kind of my distortion loop, which has the Plasma Coil by Gamechanger Audio and the 1981 Inventions DRV, kind of rat style. And I sometimes swap this out for the Guerrilla Warfare if I want kind of a modern take on a rat that's more open sounding, or if I want a really vintagey style rat, then I use the Jam Pedals Rattler, which is great. And it's, like I said, it's very much like the old 80s ones. But I use the 1981 at the moment because it handles a lot of clean stuff really well and kind of acts preampy, but then it also has rat character in higher gain settings as well. So first, the Plasma Coil, again, Jack White signature pedal, kind of balls to the wall distortion fuzz, and then we have some octave options in there as well. Again, the Plasma Coil is a really killer pedal, really unique, and that's why it's on my board. Did a demo of that. Again, you can find that on the channel. The 1981 Inventions DRV now. Again, rat style, but handles really low gain really well as well. Now, finally, for when I want those Univibe tones, I've got the Jam Pedals Retrovibe. That is definitely one of the best Univibe style pedals I've played. I've not played a ton, but this is definitely one of my favorites. So check out how that sounds. Again, another benefit of having the loop switcher, other than everything being clean and only engaging the pedals that I want, is that I can actually, when I'm doing my covers, because I like to do them all in one long take, I can have different foot switches turn on and off certain pedals at the same time, rather than having to tap dance and hit loads of different pedals. So say if I wanted the Lightspeed to come on with the collider, I could program that, and then for the next thing, I could turn that off with the same foot switch, and say I wanted the revival drive on with the fuzz ranges and a bit of analog delay, I could also do that. So there we have it. That was a look at my massive OVERKILL home studio pedal boards. Tons of different pedals on there, but it gives me loads of choices and flexibility for my videos. Having the loop switcher so I can just turn on the pedals that I want and keep the audio signal nice and clean. But then of course the thing that makes this all possible, because the crazy amount of pedals, the high current needed for some stuff, the 18 volts for other pedals and the 12 volts for the loop switcher, having the K+ modular power systems from Anasounds really came in handy. Having two of the big motherboards under there, as well as the little daughter boards, and all daisy trained together, meaning I only have to use one power lead, is absolutely killer. I really can't recommend this system enough. I was using the streaming stuff up until now, but I had a Zima and two Ojai R30s, and I was running out of outputs for this size board. And the Anasounds took care of all that problem, and it's a really great power supply. I actually recently did a full demo of the K+ modular power system, so if you'd like to see that, there'll be a link up in the cards, in the description, and pinned in the comments. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this video, and any other videos like this that you'd like to see. If you did like this pedalboard build video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the little bell notification for me as well. It really does help me out a lot, and that way you won't miss out on any of my future uploads. Other than that, go onto my channel, check out some of my playlists. I have plenty more lessons, covers, gear demos, how to sound like videos, and anything guitar related. As always, I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.